Hi guys, Zach here from CodyMadeSimple.com, and welcome to the next tutorial where we are looking at creating a shop for our game. And what I mean by shop is any place you can go inside your game and buy different items. So if you want to buy upgrades for your characters, if you want to buy weapons, if you want to buy spells, you can do whatever you want, whatever's in your game. Most of you should know what a shop is in a game. So what I'm going to do first, before we actually make a shop from scratch, is I want to show you how I did it in my game, So Much Blood. And here you're seeing on the screen now just a little gameplay of what that shop looks like. And I'm going to go into the code and show you exactly how I did that. Alright, so in this system, there's two different systems for shops. And I categorize it as using the keyboard or using the mouse. So depending on your game, depending on the flow of it, you can use either one. So if you want to navigate your shop through a keyboard, you can. Through a mouse, you can. So in So Much Blood, I used a keyboard. So let's go ahead and hop into the code here. So here I am in the project file of So Much Blood, and we have the object O store, and let's go ahead and start in the create event. So again, just a quick run by of what I did to do this, and then we're going to create the actual one. Alright, so here we have, just a bunch of nonsense variables. This right here was all for my keyboard. So the little cursor on the left hand side that goes up and down, these were like the positions, the Y positions for where that would go. And if you hit the down arrow key, then it would, like, if you're at position 0, then it would go to position 1, etc. And then this right here was just the current position and the current position 2. So you had your category and then your subcategory once you're actually in there, and you can look at the items. So here's the most important part about these shops here, is here's where we're going to initialize all of the values of the items, right? So HP 1, heal 1 heart, that's going to cost 100 points in our game. Okay, 150, 500, 1000, and then heal half heart 60. Here's the gun categories as well, 500, 800. So this is where we're going to initialize everything. And notice also that I did not set these to global, because we don't really need them global, because everything's going to be into the shop, right? So everything, when you're in the shop, this O store, that's all we need to access. So in the step event here, what I've done was, just so when you hit the W or up key, like I was saying before, you go to that other position. And in the enter key, this is where we would enter the next category, the subcategory of our shop. So let's go down to the juicy part of it, and that's drawing the actual store. And here, what I've done here, and it's kind of hard to actually go through step by step. This is just a quick run through of this. Here, we've got a bunch of sprites that we're drawing that were created for the shop. Let me go ahead and show you that. So here we got like our cursor here, and here are all the shop boxes, right? So everything is its own box, and it's all pieced together. Let's see. Alright, so this is all what I'm drawing here. So like S shop dialog would be this here up top, so everything's pieced together. So we can go down. We're just making the thing, making what it looks like here. Got it commented information box header, blood points information box, and then here is where we actually want to look at. So if our current position is pos 1 0, that means we're on our HP category. Then I've created scripts because they got way too long for each category. And here I'm going to go into that script, which is right here. So we have draw HP, draw armor, and draw gun. So we go into draw HP. Here, we've got just a couple more things with drawing it, making it look good. And then here, cursor on selected item. So this is pretty much what we're going to follow when we create this shop. So here, if current position 2 equals 0, then we're just going to go ahead and check if our blood points are greater than the initial value that we set in the create event. Then what we can do is, we can make it green. If it hits enter, then we can actually do that. So global.blood points minus equal HP 5, global.health points plus equal 1, etc. Right, and this goes down, and this is pretty much for everything. And it's pretty simple if you just take a shop and you just bring it to the bare bones of this, because that's essentially all we need. Not even this over here. All we need is really this. So if it's not and you hit enter, then our draw set color will be C red, so they can't buy the actual item. So I think what most people have problems with is actually creating the GUI for the shop, how it's going to look. Everybody can, or most people can make the actual logic of it because it's pretty simple. It's just this here. But how can you actually draw the look of this? And that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to make it all generated through, or it's just going to be all generated through code. So we're not going to use any sprites or anything like that, but you can use sprites pretty easily in place of what we're doing with the code. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a new project, and we're going to start creating our shop. Alright, so here I am in a simple project that I just started up, and I just made a little platforming. So just some gravity, some movement, and that's it. Maybe just some collision with the blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and run the game now and show you what the room looks like. So here it is. So I had an idea for this shop that we're going to do just based on kind of like a braid system where you have like those, if you ever play braid, you go to like these different like statues, and like this huge dialogue box comes up. So maybe in your platforming game, you go to like this certain place, and if you collide with it, like this object here, like I tried to make a bookshelf to kind of make it look kind of like a shop, but it doesn't look like a bookshelf at all. But so if you go there, then a whole box will like kind of appear up here, and like you can buy different things out of here. That was sort of the idea for this shop, so that's what we're gonna do. So the first thing we're gonna do is create in our O shop the same thing we did with So Much Blood. So in the create event, we're going to go ahead and set up all of the values for our items in the shop. So let's say you want 4 items in the shop, right? So I'm going to say item 1 equals 100, item 2 equals 200, item 3 equals 300, and item 4 equals 400. So those are just the items in the shop that we are going to be able to buy. So you can name this whatever. If this wants to be like health pack item or something like that, that's fine. And then we're also going to set a variable called alpha, and that's going to equal 0. And essentially what we want to do is when we go to it, we're going to make a cool effect where it kind of fades in, so it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. So in the step event, we can create some code, and we can say if place meeting x comma y o player, we're going to say if alpha is less than 1, then we want to increase that alpha. So alpha plus equals 0.05, let's say. Else, if alpha is greater than 0, alpha minus equals 0.1. We'll make it fade a little bit quicker. And if you don't know what an alpha is, that's just basically the transparency of our shop. Alright, so very simple code. And then up here, we can just say collision with the shop. So we can see that there. And then here we can just say creating values. So the next thing we want to do is start drawing that shop. Now what I've done is, before this, I've created the actual shop, so I know all the coordinates and everything we need. But you can essentially design it any way you'd like, pretty simply just by adding to this code. All right, so first thing I want to do is draw set color. Don't want that. C white. And above that, we want to actually draw self as well. Because we are in the O shop, we still want to draw our sprite. Alright, so here what I'm going to say is, let's comment something here, item 1, so we can make it a lot easier, and then we'll kind of put a cutout to that. We'll say item 2 just copy this. Item 3, because the code is going to get a little bit long, so we want to just make sure that that we have everything sort of commented out and the sections are commented so we don't get confused later on. So the idea for this shop is that a big box will appear up here, and then inside there we'll have 4 different sections, and this will all be even. So we'll have 4 different sections like this, and then we can have all of our item description in here, right? And then with our mouse, we're going to be using a mouse for this system. If we are over it and we can say buy it with our mouse, it'll turn green. If we can't, then it'll turn, you know, red, and so on. So and then when you get out of it, then this whole box will remove. So if you kind of picture, like maybe that's like the shop bookshelf that we have, and here's our player, it'll kind of appear above here. All right. Okay, so here I'm going to say draw rectangle, and the coordinates are going to be 100, 0, 484, and 90, and our outline is going to be true. So we go ahead and run the game now. As you can see, we get this little box here, and we have everything drawing right now because we want to be able to test before we actually, you know, make it fade in and out when you actually go to the shop. So that's going to be our first box. So we're going to want another one on our right, the bottom right, and the bottom left. So let's do with item 2. I'm going to say draw rectangle, and here I'm going to say 100, 0, room width minus 100, and we're going to say 90, and the outline is going to be true. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this again for item 3, and in item 3 we're going to say 100, this is going to be 90, and then this is going to be 170. Go ahead and paste that again, and then here we're going to say 484, 90, and 170. And let's go ahead and run the game now. So as you can see, we now have these 4 squares. They look a little bit uneven, but this is stuff that you can play with, and I'm sure you're going to have a different coordinate system in your game than what I did, but this is the base of our shop. This is, you know, us just drawing the rectangles that we need for the shop. So now let's go ahead and start drawing some of our item information into these squares. So here I'm going to say draw text, and the X is going to be let's say 105. Our Y is going to be 5, and then here we can just like say what the item is. So we'll say item 1. Alright, and then below we can say draw text, and here we can do like what it would cost. So we'll say like 105, we'll say 15, and we'll say cost plus string, and here would be item 1. Did I do it in capitalized or no? I did. So we'll say item 1 plus, we'll just say points. So if we run the game now with that, then we should have a little bit of a description. So there you can see item 1 cost 100 points. Let me bring this down just a little bit to maybe 20. And there you go. So you can pretty much add anything you want into this box here. So what I'm going to do is pause the video, and I'm going to just display the items for all of the others as well. Alright, so I'm back, and here as you can see we have all of the item information for each box that we have. So here you can just look at this code here if you want to copy exactly the coordinates I have for your system. Go right ahead. And also do note that the resolution for the room is 968 by 504. Alright. So now what we need to do is we need to create a sort of collision script with our mouse to see if we're actually hovering on that point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to scripts, and I'm going to create a quick script called mouse over. And I use this script all the time. It's very useful for anything. I use it all the time in projects. So here I'm going to create variable start x equals argument 0, start y equals argument 1, our width equals argument 2, and our height equals argument 3. And then up here I want to go ahead and comment this in, mouse over, start x, start y, width, and height. Okay, so now in this script we're going to say if mouse underscore x is greater than or equal to start x and our mouse underscore x is less than our start x plus width. And then that was very weird. All right, so now we're going to say if mouse underscore y is greater than or equal to start y and our mouse y is less than our start y plus height. I'm sorry, mouse y, not start y. Then all we're going to do is say return true. And then here we say else return false, else return false. And this script right here will make sure that whatever coordinates we put in, it's going to check if that mouse is in between those coordinates. All right, so now what we can do is let's go into item 1 here. And above all of this, we're going to use our mouse over script. So we're going to say if mouse over, and our start y is going to be 100, our start x is going to be 100, start y is going to be 0, our width is going to be 384. Even though we see here draw rectangle, what we're actually doing here is we're setting the width, and the actual width 44 minus 100 is 384, so the actual width of our box is 384. All right, and then the height is going to be 90. So if our mouse is over that, then we can do whatever we'd like. So in our player, in the create event, I'm just going to set global.points to equal 0. Just so we have some sort of currency system in the game. And then now all we can say is if global.points is greater than or equal to item 1, then we know that we're hovering over it and we have enough points to buy this. So we're going to say draw set color C green. All right, so now we can also say if mouse underscore check pressed, it's check button pressed, MB left, then we already know that we have enough points because it's green. So then all we have to do is just say, maybe global.points minus equals item 1, and then here we would give whatever we want, whatever sort of item or anything in the game, we would just code that in. So if you wanted a health pack or something, then maybe the health would go up, then we would just code that in right here. We would say though after this, else, which means if we say else to our global.points is greater than or equal to item 1, that means we don't have enough. So we're going to say draw set color C red. And then underneath here, I'm just going to copy our draw rectangle. I'm going to make it false. And then afterwards, I'm going to say draw set color C white. So let's go ahead and run the game. So as you can see, we have everything here, but when we go into here, we don't have enough points, so it's red. Right? And if we click, nothing will happen. Let's just say in here, show debug message, item bought. And let's go ahead and set in our player, let's set the points to 100. So now when we hover over it, you can see it's green, and if we click, Down there it says item bought, and we don't have enough to buy to buy it again. All right, so we can essentially just take that code, copy and paste it throughout the rest of our items. So I'm going to go to item 2 now, and we're going to say, let's see, it would be 100, 0. So this would actually be 484. Actually, when I originally did the coordinates, this was wrong, so I just fixed that then. So this will be 484. The width is still going to be 384, 090, and then let's change this to item 2. And then we'll just take this, and we'll draw it here, and let's run the game. It's not coming up. I think something's wrong with the coordinates here on this one. It's that I had this. This needs to be false. So let's try that now. Alright, so we can buy this, and we go over here. We can't buy that because we don't have 200 points. But we can buy this. Now they're both red. So let's go down and let's do it again for our item 3. So in here, the coordinates would be 100. Our start would be 90. And I believe, let's see, this would be 80. Copy this and we'll put it right here. We'll say this is false. We'll change this to item 3. So I'll copy this, and I'll paste it down for item 4. So this would be 484, 90, 80, 384. That looks about right. So item 4, and let's copy this, and let's paste it down right here, make it false. So now let's run the game. Alright, so we got this, we got that, and it looks like our bottom left corner has a little bit of issues here. So let's see what's going on with that. So this needs to be this is our bottom left. No, this one here needs to be alright, there we go. My coordinates were just a little bit janky here. In item 3, this was room width minus 100. This needs to be 484 and 484. So let's go ahead and run the game now. So here in our shop, we have item 1, item 2, item 4, and item 3. So we can now click these, and essentially we have a shop running now. So let's go ahead and make it so that if we're hovering over our little shop object, then we can display the shop. So after all this, I want to set draw set alpha to 1, and then in between all of this, I want to say draw set alpha to alpha, and then I'm going to say let's see, I'm going to say that if alpha is less than or equal to 0, then return 0. Let's go and run the game. And because GameMaker is a little bit janky, in our draw event here, we just need to say draw self for these objects. And draw set alpha to 1. I don't know why it's doing that. It's doing that recently where I don't know if it's part of the code or what it is, but when we draw set alpha back to 1 after everything, it should draw everything at the 1 alpha, but it's not for some reason. So let's go ahead and run the game now. So here we have nothing, right? We can move around, and there we go. So now we can click this, right? So if we get out of it and we try and click, it's not actually going to work. So that's what that whole if alpha is less than or equal to 0, then return 0. We don't want to initiate any of the shop logic when we're not hovering or we're not colliding with this shop object. So we can do that. Item 1 bought. And then if we go ahead and in our player, let's set our points to 500. So as you can see, now we have all of the items available to us. So if we have 500, we can do like say like this one, which means we can't buy this one now because we'd be at 300 now. And if we buy like this one, now we can't buy anything. All right. So that's going to be it for today. Go leave a like, go and subscribe. Go ahead and check out CodingMadeSimple.com for complete courses on how to create video games from scratch. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.